Right, here we have the blue team and the red team getting ready for a match. Right now the builds seem pretty standard.
Yeah,
As we start building up for those.
I like the way that it started out. We actually have a lot of big names in the rank game. Lassus and Incon being on the same team. Cliff and Korea generally seen as pretty decent players themselves. Over on the right side, Stealth and Annenster, of course, from Cloud9 playing together. While they don't have as strong of a team as a whole, it should be noted that Cloud9 probably is in a better spot overall. Annenster's Humbots can be very disruptive. And Lassus going into Anubis. I wonder if we're going to see the Achilles Spear sustain, which I love.
I would be interested to see a Blink Anubis pulling in those hot plays.
Well, if they go Blink, it's going to probably limit him. I mean, they need to get him. I mean, he's going to have to go with the Blink. But after that, does he want the Aegis? Will he lack the sustainability? Does he want to go in for beads? Is he going to go in for this all-in strategy that we know Anubis usually does? A lot of that really comes down to how his team is going to play around him. And with an Arachne, which is a little bit curious that they put both on the same team, it's going to be very hard for them to start confirming damage in the late game when people start becoming very mobile.
I feel the beads will most certainly be necessary with this 13 comp is very beads oriented.
That's true. I mean, especially on the other side, Sun Wukong, while he has a lot of movement, Annenster doesn't have any CC immunity inside of his kit. MLC Stealth does, but it requires him to stand still. Ares can get picked off very quickly. Right now, it seems like Blue Team, despite the fact... Actually, I can't really decide. Neither team really seems cohesive to me. It kind of seems like they went through the picks and bans phase, just kind of like picking without a strategy. But I don't know. I think I want to give it to Red Team.
I like the red team's comp a bit more. They're really just, they seem like all in there, and they're picking like really strong things individually, but I see more potential for them to mesh with like Ares into Hades ult.
Alright, so we have a jungle Bacchus. Now, a lot of people think that this is pretty trolly, and honestly, most of the time it is, but there's so much potential for damage here. His scaling is actually through the roof, and late game becomes very hard to deal with. This probably will be a stun, yeah, but there's not going to be any follow-up potential there. Right now, Blue Team, getting very aggressive. Stealth! Ooh.
Nice.
Stealth got a little aggressive there.
Yeah. Yeah, that stun, that would have been a lot more...
Alright, so try to avoid yeah. You always want to try to build off of what I'm saying. If you just say like yeah or right, it becomes awkward and the cast dies. It's your job as the host to always carry. So right there, that was a fight breakout. So you could see Stealth out of position. I gave you immediately, right? You should have been like, oh, but it looks like he's safe. Talk about the ability usage. His jump's going to be down. Might make his clear on the next phase awkward. Check his abilities. You can see that he is 2 levels into Devour Souls, which means he can't combo his 3 properly. Always keep in mind about the options that a player has. Alright, let's continue on. Go ahead, take it.
With that, they're going to go for that red buff.
This is a good steal.
Oh, and they're coming in from the back, Annenster.
Lassus could be in trouble here. He has already used his abilities.
He's going in. MLC's trying to go for a silence, maybe? Nope. And he's gone. Yeah,
the damage was enough. They're going to follow up into Korea. Good slow. Stun. Now, he only has about 50 mana. It's going to cost him a little bit more than... No, the Bumba's Mask has put him back in line. He will be able to jump away in a few seconds. They're going to take first blood.
That's going to be really well for them to start getting this roll going on and make advantage of their team.
So, again, don't be nervous. Nothing to be nervous about. You're stumbling over your words because you're psyching yourself out. Just think about what you want to say while I'm talking, and then just say it in the shortest amount of words possible. So right there, it's like, the first blood went out. Annenster's in a good spot here because he got that huge jump in gold. That's going to allow him to get his boots online faster. And once you mention an item, start talking about how much the items cost and how much it's going to take for them to get them finished up. So right now, you know that he starts at 1,500 gold. You can either look at net worth or do the math that he has about 1,100 to 1,200 in hand. Alright, so let's continue on. Korea getting pressured by 2 in the mid lane. Stealth and Annenster are going to be pushing in here.
Lassus is back, so that'll help the clear a bit more. But Humbat seems to be going over for a gank on Arachne.
Yeah, she's really far out of position.
Really pushed up and
she's actually pretty lucky. She hit level 5 right there, so she does have an escape if necessary. Andy,
it's gonna be fine. I think they realize that they have a that she has her ultimate, so it would be really risky going for her without either of them having theirs. But Summercon just hit 5, so.
Oh, what's
doing that?
Are you lagging right now?
Oh yeah, they were jumping.
Yeah, we hit a bit of stasis mode. What is your timer at right now?
2:42.
Okay, good. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this duo lane. We haven't seen too much from this. We have a Geb and Freya going up against Ares Shibalanke. So top side, not great clear.
Going for a Go Fury right now.
They're using the Anubis really well.
Yeah, no one seems to notice this either. It's a really sneaky at 3 minutes in.
And that's big because it offset all of the golden experience lost by the First Blood. And while it isn't worth a lot at this stage, it was still worth enough to put them back in the lead.
It's gonna really help Freya get those items on faster, and Ares is ulted in.
This is going to force out ultimates. Incon's going to have his wasted. Carolina Panther should be able to do some damage here, but I don't know.
Yeah, Shibalanke could go take advantage. Nope, leave her around.
You know, I think that had to do with the fact that Ares used his chains and didn't connect. So once they were on cooldown, they didn't really have a follow-up. But they do get 2 ults for 1. Shibalanke still has his available, which could help over in the right lane. We're still seeing a slapbox match, but Murphy's getting pretty much out of mana.
Yeah, while Cliff still has all of his available, and blue buff is spawning, but there's no jungler coming around and help.
You can
see
see
they're focused on mid camps right now.
Oh no, Andy's gonna jump in here. Last is out of position, doesn't have his ultimate available for 30 seconds. This is a kill. This is a kill.
And with the ult.
Last is staying alive. Might be long enough for Andy to get a return. Yeah.
Stealth gets that kill.
Yeah, Korea really low here. Stealth looking for the double, needs one more. Wow.
Dashes in and gets the kill.
That was a really good auto attack cancel there, making sure he maximized his damage.
Like he's starting to build in.
Nope. Whenever a team fight is going on, when it's over, the first thing you got to do is look at your minimap. So look at your minimap. What do you see?
Cliff and Murphy get into a fight.
So Cliff forced to use his ultimate, the last of his mana as well, but he hasn't gone back to the base yet.
He was starting to back.
All right, so right there, I led you in, right? So by saying he hasn't gone back to the base yet, you can say a few things. You could say he could go into teleport, otherwise going back at this point with the creeps being as close as they are, he's going to lose some golden experience to the tower, or you can do he has enough gold in hand to buy full boots, which means he'll have a faster way back to the lane. Now he could also go into the Ickfall considering he has the short bow to increase his boxing potential, but that will cost him golden experience as the creeps will go into the tower, right? You have 3 separate paths to pick from. But you always want to lead off what the analyst says. Remember, as a play-by-play and as a host, you need to make sure you're following the story set to you by the, quote, expert. Who's ever in that analyst chair, whether it's a pro or another caster, they're the person that's supposed to be providing the facts, and you're supposed to be building the storyline. Okay? So, again, Murphy's going to get the rest of mana off of Cliff here. He's going to be sent back to the base. It's very unsafe for him to stay. But, I mean, he has a decent amount of gold.
He can probably go for a teleport to help him to the lane faster, because he's going to have to with the minions that he's sacrificing, and he's also about to lose his blue buff as well. Yeah,
that's what he chose, though. You can see he finished up the Ickfall and went into teleport 2 for a shorter cooldown. He's likely to lose his blue buff here, and that's pretty good for Murphy. Oh, it was stolen away!
By Korea.
Follow it up.
Have to hold now. That's a really good secure steal.
That was impressive. Korea rotating over just in time. That not only put Murphy in a spot where he's lost golden experience, but Murphy spent a lot of his health and mana trying to burn that camp down. He's in a position where he can't really box effectively, and he's got to be careful.
And his ult's down as well, so he can't use that as a last op.
I mean, against an Arachne, won't have too much trouble escaping, Animals being extremely effective in that regard, but at the same time, he can't afford to be putting these things on cooldown so haphazardly.
Like there's a little bit grouping over in the mid lane. Things are just kind of evening out right now.
Yeah, neither team looks like they want to engage here. Lassus and Korea going to spend some time and continue farming. You're going to see the same thing from the top side? No. Andy is...
They seem to be going in.
Andy's looking for the gank here on Duo. Let's follow him in.
So, Geb ulted, and Freya ulted as well. That feeds.
Andy is chasing Incon. Korea's here again!
Ares is very low, someone can get to him, but he'll be out because he's out of the fight. Anubis ult, getting a kill in, and we'll see Elves as well. drugging them in.
They've been baited a lot here. Korea and Lassus both taking damage, but does Xbalanque have enough to clean it up?
Blanca did a bunch of damage there, and Self could go on Korea.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we're seeing the back off from Xbalanque. He still had control. Korea does have his belly flop available. Now he has to be careful. He wasn't keeping track of the timers. Korea is looking for blood. Oh, the turnaround's going to be big here. Call it out. Right there, call it out. We're gonna go back here a little bit before the team fight started. I'm gonna have to speed up because nowhere near the team fight at this point. Gotta wait for Andy to get into the jungle. Okay, so remember when I said let's follow Andy in, right? The camera's on Andy, right? So if you're casting, you're generally gonna be casting off the program feed, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna see Anister right now. What can you see if you click on Anister right now? What can you see? Andy. That's it.
I see his ult's up.
Right, but I'm saying on your screen, ignore all the diamonds. Which characters can you see on your screen? Just Anister. Right? So what you should be doing as a caster is watching your minimap. So we're going to follow it in again. Right? I'm going to slow it down this time. Now, as you see Andy coming in, you can hear that the ults are starting to come off, right? Freya ult was used, Ares ult was used, Geb ult was used. So the first thing you want to do is say, Red has a huge advantage. Both ultimates for Blue are already down. This is going to give them an opportunity to turn this around with a big fear, no evil. It's up to them to choose which target is going to be more valuable. Now, Incon's already pretty low, but as his God of Smite, he's gotten to the point where he might get picked off. Andy, though, throwing down the fear, no evil right as Freya lands, giving them great turnaround potential. Andy gonna chase out the tank as stealth rotates over. God of Smite barely survives as Andy goes into the jungle against two. He's been baited. He's picked off, but there's really not any potential for Lassus or Korea to get out of this one. So then Lassus gets picked off. Korea's low, right? Now, we know that he's locked into the ultimate. Right here, Xbalanque should recognize the fact that Korea didn't jump out of that ultimate, which means his jump is going to be on cooldown. That is a key for you as a caster. While Xbalanque might not know that his jump is still down, you should be clicking Bacchus, looking on the bottom left to see that the belly flop is still up, right? And then it's like, he can pressure him out here, but Xbalanque's choosing to escape. Maybe he doesn't realize that it's down. He didn't have an escape, but now that Korea has it back up, Xbalanque likely is going to be able to be picked off here. If Korea goes in, gets a belly flop and 2 auto attacks, it's going to be a kill. Ace no gonna dodge away. Korea taking a lot of damage here. He's not taking the slow, but he is poisoned and he will be picked off. That's another kill for a first kill for Xbalanque. That's a huge win right there for Red. So I covered. What is that? Stop doing that, you dick. I'm going to just mute real quick. Sorry. There we go. So we talked about everyone's ults were on cooldown, right? But do you know what the most important thing that we talked about there was? Owl?
Abilities that were used.
I mean, sure.
Abilities that were available.
Not so much, because while it's important that we do the play-by-play casting and we point out the big things, in the grand scheme of things, the most important thing that we really built there was the fact that Xbalanque backed off in places where he shouldn't have. He always was playing a very passive route. This will start building the story for the rest of the game. Will Xbalanque continuously start, backing off in team fights? Will he start being aggressive once his kills are online? This allows us to build the Xbalanque narrative. Is he going to be a player that gets more aggressive with items? Is he going to be a player that always likes to play this rather regressive style where he's trying to fight from the backline as much as possible to bait opponents, or is he just afraid of the people that he's fighting? These things
struggle to get his passive.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's going to be hard for him to get those stacks off playing so passively. He wants to make sure he gets those 6 stacks up, get the levels onto branching bolas, and get that maximum damage as fast as possible. All right, let's continue on. So I'll lead you out of the team fight. Big kill right there. Ace going to get 5 extra damage, and this is going to allow him to be more aggressive in lane if he chooses to play that way.
Just looking over at Cliff.
That was a little bit awkward, right? You gotta.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Just
kind of
again,
cut out for me for some reason.
Don't be nervous. There's nothing to be nervous about. Just think what you're gonna say while I'm talking. So we'll do it again. Xbalanque right there, getting the final kill, getting 5 extra damage from that passive, and he's going.
What time are you at?
7 o'clock or 7 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
It's paused right now.
Okay.
He goes back to the base, ops away from boots. He's going into light blade. This is probably going to be an Aussie. Owl.
I'm freezing up here.
So, all right. So, what were you trying to form there? Are you there?
I'm here. I'm just like I don't know why I just got like frozen because I'm thinking about actives but he.
So again, you don't have to think.
Okay.
That's not your job. It's my job to think. Your job is to follow up on whatever I say. So if I say this looks like Aussie, you can, if you don't have anything to say, just agree with it. Be like, yeah, he's already got the light blade. Aussie's coming up next. It's a tier 2 item, but he's coming right back to lane, and he's going to keep farming. He wants to get the stacks up on the Transcendence. That, or you could switch it. Say, he could go into an early executioner. Geb has been a big amount of trouble. Maybe getting through that defense will be helpful.
But he doesn't have boots yet. He's going for that instead
of
boots.
Or talk about the boots. That's another big thing. So he's going into Lightblade here.
But he doesn't have boots yet, which will... If he had boots, it'd be easier to get these kills, get these stacks going.
That's true. Not to mention, Freya has not only her boots started, but the haste and fatalis, meaning her movement speed is going to be massive. It's going to be hard for him to box Freya, who not only has wider hitboxes, but now doesn't suffer a movement speed penalty and has more movement speed.
He won't be able to get away and stay alive to get those kills that he needs.
So we got a 3-man grouping here. A little bit of lag coming out. Strange. Must be servers. Annister forced to use his ult.
Gets Korea in a bad spot.
Oh.
And Ares ults.
Oh, you hate to see these kinds of things happen.
Knock up.
Incon's got 2.
Further away. 1. Simon Till ults here. Getting big damage from Anubis though.
Okay, keep going.
Stealth ults getting those in.
And, you don't have to talk about who he's got. Just count, right? That's the really. And we're gonna run that back real quick. We're gonna start with Lasses on the bottom side. Right, speed it up. Andy is gonna throw on his ultimate in response to the Belch of the Gods that's coming out here in a second. Speed it up a little bit more. Sorry about that. We want to get Andy's ult off. There we go. So it looks like they want to reinitiate. Got a smite. Oh, throws out the ultimate right as the jump comes out. I'm sorry. Just listen so you can hear the important stuff.
Okay, sorry.
So Incon pushes away 1. He's looking for a big ultimate. He's only going to find 1 here. Now, got a smite, maybe not in the best spot. Lass is going for the big damage, throws down the 3, looks for the kill. That one's guaranteed, but all the while, Stealth, and this is important, Stealth finds 2. Lassus gets picked off already. Incon has no way out of this. You don't have to say who's stuck in. You say, Stealth has 2. 1's already down. Incon, no escape here. And they're going to turn on to Korea, right? Korea's jump's already down. Stealth diving the tower. Murphy getting as close as possible. Slow, not going to hit, but they'll have enough damage. And a triple kill for Hades under the tower. I barely said anything there. I said, Incon's out of position. Incon only got 1 person. We talked about Gotta Smite missing things, which was very important. We talked about Lassus getting stuck by saying 2 people are stuck in the Hades ult. Incon out of position gets picked off, and then at the end, Korea, using his jump, limits his escapes, had no way to dash away from MLC Stealth and Murphy at that point, who uses the bird to its maximum efficiency to get as close as possible to look for the Master's Will slow, and then gets it, they get the kill. Right? I said as little things as possible, called out names when they were necessary, because you do want to keep up the narrative. Right? But I'm not overcommitting. I'm not trying to speed cast. I'm not trying to name everything, and I'm not trying to fatigue myself in the team fight. I don't want to get caught over my own words. It's all about being able to point out the important things while staying as eloquent as possible. All right, so let's continue on. You can see Cliff is under his tier 1, right? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Are you on push to talk?
No, voice activity is really weird because my keyboard's super loud.
All right, so just make sure that you're speaking into your mic as clearly as possible. And make sure you're speaking from your stomach and not your throat, because it's more likely to pick up if you project. So we watched out the team fight. Korea's dead. Cliff's under his tier 1. Are they going to try to dive this?
He very well easy will die. No, Cliff just comes out.
Wow, and he gets a kill, too, quickly.
Oh.
Andy, not looking as strong as we usually see him.
Yeah.
1, 3, and 7 right now. Follow up. 1, 3, and 7. Go off the scores. You can talk about, yes, he's been a part of 7 assists, although the other jungler is 2, 3, and 2, only a part of 4, as opposed to Andy being a part of 8. You could talk about the fact that he's building a lot for Emissly Stealth, who has 6 kills right now. Always want to build off. So where you bring us in here. Tell me where you want to start. Just start talking about something. I'll bring us with the camera.
Stealth's looking really big with that 6-0 and 3. He'll have to get shut down soon, or he could just keep going and going and going as Hades.
Well, it's going to get harder, right? Because the Warlock Sash has been started now. He has penetration on his boots as well, so good movement speed, good sustainability, and they don't really have a great way to burn this. You know, we do have Anubis, right, who's great at being able to burst people down, but when you have as much health and sustainability as Hades, it becomes a very tall task.
They're going to have to find some way, or he'll just keep rolling over, and with his...
All right, so let's cut it there. So find some way doesn't tell us anything, right?
Okay.
We're supposed to be leading the conversation at home. And remember, you're not talking to the people at home, you're talking to me. So if I were to say, how are they going to... If I were to say they need to kill Hades here, how do you think they would do it? So at this point, if you don't know immediately, the first thing that you want to do is you want to ask the analyst. You want to say something like, you know, that's right, he has a lot of health. How are they going to actually kill him? Like, what do they have to do to shut him down at this point? Because you mentioned they have to shut him down. He's worth a lot of gold at 6 kills, right? Let me take care of that. If I'm the expert, if I know a lot about the game, put that in my lap. Give that back to me. I can say if they rotate Freya over, there's a lot of burst damage there. They can chase him really well with Valkyrie's discretion. But Freya's stuck on the left side of the map right now, Owl. And with that, we're seeing a 3v2 grouping right here in the mid lane.
Answer blinks in, but he doesn't ult.
Yeah, it was kind of a bait.
He blinks.
I think he was looking to maybe get some beads activations there. Maybe he didn't think his team could follow up. The bait was good, though. Although, on the right side, Murphy gets picked up, showing some weakness here. Arachne able to control him a lot.
Arachne looks like she's coming from the back, but going to go back forward, try to catch one out.
Oh, yeah, look at this. Korea is...
Oh, they're going after Korea.
Ooh, if Andy still had his blink, there could have been a turnaround. Baby's doing a lot of damage, though. They are max, which means they have decent health. Topside, the speed has already been taken, it seems, but Cliff's still trying to clear up as much of that camp as possible.
They're really going after this speed right here.
Shibalanka on the left side. Trouble. All right, so where were you on that?
I got to it too late, and I just didn't really see what was going on.
You don't always have to click it, right? If you can see on your minimap that 3 people are diving, just say that 3 people are diving. You're not going to be doing the camera most of the time, although in some cases you will have your own laptop. It's up to you to make sure you're understanding what's going on, even when the camera's not on it, right? So right there, if I say Shibalanka is in trouble, and you see that 3 people on blue are diving a red tower, assume that that's where it's happening.
Okay.
All right, so they get another big kill there, and shutting Shibalanka down, maybe not shutting him down, but sending him back to the base and stopping that farm is really big. Oh, this could be bad. Oh, look at Econ.
Get some revenge for that.
Where is he going? Hello?
He's just trying to get away. Hello?
So this is probably smart, right? He sacrifices. He knows that he's dead, so he brings himself away from his team. However, if I were him, I'd be very upset because Lassus rotates in as well as Carolina Panthers. They both get stuck in the ultimate, and Freya doesn't have a way out.
Lassus has his ult. There it goes.
Oh, you know, we just talked about how are they going to kill him? How are they going to kill? They just had 2 amazingly powerful magic dealers throw a ton of damage in, and Stealth survives again.
And he's just going to keep going with that Warlock. The more he stacks, the harder it's going to be.
Korea is not really in position here. MLC just walks in and gives him a little tap on the shoulder.
Trying to steal, but it's not going to happen. They're just going to go on him.
He's stuck here. 2 more seconds. Oh, did he beads? They got his beads before he was able to jump. Oh, man, that's rough. So follow off the beads, right? Say, you know, talk about the respawn timer or something like that.
I mean, the respawn timer is going to get that down, but he's going to need those beads to keep going in the jungle with so much CC on this team.
Right, and he doesn't have CC immunity in his kit, so with that down, he's kind of a sitting duck now. So that was wide open, right? That you can't let those weird awkward pauses happen. It makes everyone at home lose interest. So once I said that he's going to be a sitting duck now, you have a million avenues. You could talk about the CC. You could just switch it completely and say, you know, it's been a while. Let's go to the graphs. We haven't seen a Gold Fury in a while, right? We could talk about the Golden Experience. There's always something to talk about, right? So you should have chosen an avenue. So right there.
Like I was like going to be like, let's look at the graphs, but then I always have trouble figuring out what buttons do what, and I'm like, oh.
So just call for them. Just call for them. Just say, hey, let's have a look at the graphs here, and then kill it. And then as a good commentator, I'll pick the graphs up and immediately start talking about it. So I'll do that now. That's right. It says 600 gold in favor of red once again off of their original lead. The Gold Fury is what really brought blue back into this. And we probably should see that again. Anubis having probably the best objective damage at this stage of the game with Gold Fury up, and they have decent control over the map given the fact that neither team has wards. It couldn't be vastly out of their favor.
He picks up clipped over in the solo lane, and Ares ults in, grabs one over there, gets some beat, gets some ults going out. Stealth still not dying though. Lassus goes out. A great knockback by Geb.
Right, but all right, so right there, that was a good opportunity for you to continue the narrative that you started, right? Who did he do the damage on? Who did Incon hit? Hades, right, which is MLC Stealth. Two times we've already talked about that Stealth can't be hurt, right? That he's almost invincible. So right there, you could say Incon using a full rollout, plus damage from the Shockwave, plus damage from the Cataclysm. Stealth dashes away immediately. Now Ares is by himself, but Stealth once again, 8-0 survives. Right? It continues the narrative, showing that Stealth is still the god of this game, showing the person that they have to rely on the most. And it tells us the next step in the story, which is Ares being out of position here.
Ares just getting poked out and trying to make some time for Stealth to come back in.
Wow, and they did it.
That damage, and
Go ahead.
Picks up that kill.
Right. What also we want to do is we want to continue the narrative of Bacchus. He couldn't get away because he was crippled, and he couldn't get out of the cripple because his beads from the last time were down. You see that? You see how he continued those 2 points? It drastically, right? It drastically increases the viewership retention and the viewership attention, which is a big deal. It's like, oh wow, Bacchus, you're right. He got caught. I forgot he used those beads before. You have a million little fucking things that you have to pay attention to as a caster, because for all intents and purposes, laning phase is boring. This phase right now there's not a lot of action. It's up to us to point out these little nuances of the game to make it seem as interesting as we believe it to be, right? And that's another thing, is you have to find the game amazingly interesting. If you can tell when a caster is bored. So let's go over. Anister over in the left lane. Ultimate is available. Incon is out of position.
That slow from Anubis is going.
Don't get caught. Just talk. Just talk through it.
Anister uses his ult, and Incon's almost down. Just one more auto attack, but he's going to get out that rollout.
Ray is stuck in a corner, though. Another kill for Shibalanke. That's going to be another 5 damage on his passive. Uh-oh. You see this? Korea's diving. Is he going to have
going
it?
Too far in there. It might get the kill, but he's going to die right after him if these three play it correctly.
Well, his beads are back up. He's not going to have jump for a few more seconds. He's going to have to beat here. He's taking a lot of damage. I think
too much damage. He won't be able to make this out. They have too much kill potential here.
I maybe even chasing this isn't a great idea, but they do pick him up. Another kill for Stealth, a part of 16 of the 18 kills, 9 of which he is the killing blow. But because he chased him for that long, it's unlikely they can get any objectives. They might be able to get mid-camps, but the Gold Fury will sustain for now.
He bought them enough time for them to get back into things and for Incon to go back and heal up.
Watch your map. Alright, so what do you see?
Geb's trying to steal.
No, Geb stole. You can actually see that the purple is on him. He picked it up right there. So they were fighting for a while. The narrative there is that Ace was very passive once again. Didn't think he could take the buff away, and he lost it. Alright, so find something on the map and talk about it. Doesn't matter what.
Freya's going back into Ace, who's...
Wow, major outboxing. Holy hell!
Ares is here. He has the chance to help him out. That dash, if he won't give enough
distance
away.
She timed out.
Kill.
Oh, but she gets it.
No.
She's going to be able to turn this one around, too. Goddess Smite might have to escape here.
And Khan's coming from the back.
Yeah, they should probably turn this around. Carolina Panthers did not rely on his team well enough there.
He's going way too far out, but Elastis comes in with an ult. Surely he's about to die. There he goes.
Do you think they needed that ult there? Do you think Lassus could have got away with just using the Plague of Locusts?
I think it was a bit unnecessary. No one was around to really help him. Self all the way in mid lane. He can't do it fast enough.
I mean, there's about 900 damage coming out of Death Gaze if you hit everything, which he didn't, versus a max 95, right? So about 600 damage coming out of the Plague of Locusts. Had he used the Plague of Locusts, though, he wouldn't have missed, a third. I think he could have got away without using that ultimate, which would have saved it for the jungle camps. Incon in some trouble here. Nice slow, rather fear.
That's just looking at them. If he had his ult, though, it would have been...
Go ahead. When I say things like, you want to keep talking through that. That's just flavor text. So Murphy gets a kill on the cliff. MLC Stealth kind of out of position here, but you can see Korea and Lassus are going to get pincered. Right? So let's talk about Lassus here. Lead in with he doesn't have his ultimate. Go ahead.
He doesn't have his ultimate, so getting rid of all of that health on MLC Stealth would be better. But he looks like he's about to go down, and then Lassus takes MLC Stealth, finally shut down.
That's right. 9 kills later. Lassus will get picked up. Not worth a lot of gold, but Carolina Panthers is here as well.
Korea goes after Endester, trying to get that kill down, but Smite comes around from the back, doing the chains, and the Flames doing a bunch of damage to him.
That was a big choke. When he blinked in, he missed the Flames on a person who was basically standing still, and he's going to jump here. Ult needs all 4.
Carolina Panthers trying to get that ult down with it, but he's missing a few shots there. Gets the tower shot.
They can't really box her still. Does she have beads? Does she have beads?
Oh,
go ahead. He got the beads, but he's stuck out of position.
Carolina Panthers in a bad position, but he keeps doing those autos. They have a double kill right over here. That's one.
He's trying for it still.
One.
They're going under the tower. Got a Smite stuck.
Getting him.
Yeah.
He's gone.
So one thing that's very important is flow. Right? So when I add things like or oh my god, look, right? That's flavor text. You don't have to cut off for that. Keep saying what you want to say. When I'm talking though, try to let me talk unless you're going to add flavor text. And then when I stop, you got to pick it up immediately. You have to know when my thought is going to end.
Okay.
So
I was a bit confused.
So right here, tier 1 going to go down here. Another 500 gold's going to be added to the wallet. Murphy's here, but he's a little bit too late.
Great poke on him to try to get revenge for that tower.
Oh, Incon back, leaving Carolina Panthers by himself, but no one wants to box the Freya.
Cliff's coming in to try to relieve some pressure off them, but MLT Stealth is coming out on Carolina Panthers using his ult. With a few ticks, he's going to die.
He's going to try to use his healing from his passive here. I don't know if he has enough. No, Stealth's going to be able to burn that one down. Cliff still in the back line trying to block.
Yeah,
go ahead.
With Stealth there, yeah, force the ult out.
So then
he goes back in.
He has no way to escape. He's got to be very careful, but Lassus is coming in. Lassus is baiting beautifully, and a nice Geb shield to keep him alive.
I'm not sure if he has his ult, but should have. Yeah, he doesn't have his ult. It's still down.
Oh, look at this. Lassus doesn't have his ultimate available here, but they have a good line to the Fire Giant. Now, I think God of Smite and Andy assume that they're going to be heading towards the Gold Fury. They don't see any rotations. They're going to assume Fire Giant. Do they have time to make it there? Andy's in.
Over, and some ults try to disrupt them.
Cliff in the back line will fall. Fire Giant still stands, and it looks like Andy...
They have a lot of damage on it, but Incon's trying to poke it at too. The blue team seems to be trying to take advantage of it, take control.
Pull from Goddess Smite could be good here. He does find it. Blue team takes the Fire Giant still, even with all that pressure coming in, but they're losing so many for it. Andy's going super deep. He'll be stunned here. Do they have enough to follow up? Freya with the banish!
There's only 2 that have Fire Giant right now, and it's about to be only 1.
Oh, I don't know about...
Gets that kill, though.
I don't know about that. I think Bacchus has escaped. You know, Freya, not great accuracy with these ult shots. Goddess Smite very low here. Could be a turnaround. Shibalanke's back in. Needs to box him. Needs to box him out. I don't think he's got it.
No. Freya's too close late game.
Oh, look at this. That's a double.
That kill.
That's a double. Fire Giant Freya here. Oh, he got the kill.
And another one.
Oh, wow. Freya goes down there, so 4 people lose their Fire Giant. Only Korea has it left, which is probably the person they wanted on least, considering how little effect he's had on the game. He's also caught right here.
He's about to lose it, too.
He doesn't have an escape. The whole Fire Giant has been wasted. So right there, you know, they pick off Murphy, they pick off MLC Stealth, they go for the Fire Giant, right? So it winds up being a full deicide for full deicide, slight favor to blue with the 750 gold that they earned for taking down FG, but honestly, it's a wash. We go to the graphs and we see we have a dead even game.
That really brought them back into the game. It was a great play by Red to get rid of that Fire Giant once they have lost it.
Yeah, if Andy wasn't there when he was, it's likely that this game could have started skyrocketing, right? It would have been completely out of control on the side of blue. That Fire Giant on Freya, the Fire Giant on Anubis, it becomes very hard to deal with, but they pick it off of everyone, and we go back to a neutral game. The gold and experience are even. There's no Fire Giant to fight over. I think all of our sights here are going to turn towards the Gold Fury.
And once they get a good pick off this Gold Fury, they can start going for it.
We've only seen one Gold Fury pick off so far, and it was super early. It was like 6-7 minutes into the game. The Anubis damage was just too much for the objective to deal with. Goes down very quickly. Freya looks like is going to start it up here.
Last's ult, the area's trying to creep up on him.
Uh-oh, look at this right behind him. Annister's chasing down Carolina Panthers. Got a smite already very low. Carolina.
Annister's ult.
Yeah, but the beads come out immediately. She's able to stay alive, and the Geb shield stops her from taking damage.
Lots of damage on the red team. Zlassis picks up 2 kills.
Yeah, look at this. Shibalanke out of position as well. No 3 to be used. He's going down.
He's not, from first of the game to now, he's not having a really good time here.
Lassus once again.
Blinks in for it. Great combo by him.
Just barely escaping, though. He'll stay alive. He'll get some health back as well. Andy in some trouble. Blinks away right before, but oh, Korea's going for it?
No, he's backing off. This is too dangerous.
But even so, I mean, they gained so much off that. That was a 3-for-1, only losing the support. And with the Gold Fury still available, you can see the graphs are going to start turning back in the blue favor heavily. They're already up 1,600. Let's add 1,750 to that. Even
with a really dominant stealth, they're working really hard to get that together. It's a lot to the Freya, I think.
I mean, while Freya's doing a lot of damage, Lassus is setting up a lot of kills. Korea's having a great amount of control, and while he's not doing a lot in terms of damage, at least not where it counts, he's allowing his team to reinitiate repeatedly. What I would say is that we're not seeing a lot from Arachne. There's 24 kills. She's been a part of 5, 2 of which were solo, and she's still only a level ahead of the Wukong, who has a much better teamfight phase. In fact, taking a look at the damage charts here, she is actually very close to the top, but a lot of that is being spent into the Sun Wukong, who's healing up a lot of it by just going back to the base and not losing a lot of experience. Wukong, on the other hand, a lot of that damage is stemming from poke and team fights. So while he doesn't have as much damage, it seems like his has been more effective.
Over on the left, they seem to be grouping up for this tower. Smoke is backing off again.
What is Lassus doing here?
Really bad position. They could easily collapse on him. Not sure if his blink is up.
All right, so this
ult,
is great here. Did the Shibalanke ult go off for you? Owl?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want you to do is on the left side of your screen where the characters are, click Lassus. Okay?
Okay.
Now, if you hold right-click down, you can pan your camera by moving your mouse. But using only this field of vision, we're going to do my favorite exercise, and it's going to be called Name 10 Things. So please, go ahead.
I see some Wukong's coming from base. There's
You're starting backwards. Let's start with the most important things that are happening right now. Number 1.
There's about 4 people on him.
Right, so there's 4 people that are blocking Lassus into the corridor. The big thing is that Lassus is locked in a corridor. Okay, go ahead.
So, I'm trying to figure out where is his... Yeah, he has blink up, so he can just blink over the wall.
Okay, but has he taken damage yet? Is he in combat?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got to stay out of combat for 3 seconds to use the blink. Enough. Okay, what else?
Let's see. Freya and Geb are coming, but they won't be able to really get there.
Okay.
time.
Remember, Lassus, the big thing, Lassus still has his ultimate, and he is Anubis against a level 16 Shibalanke, so there is turnaround potential. That's very important. Lassus has a lot of lifesteal in his build with Pythagoras' Peace and Bancroft's Talon, meaning he can sustain through a lot of the damage that's coming. Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, so he does get the blink over the wall.
But they blink after him.
Lassus misses the...
ult. And no, he ults this.
Ooh, not enough. Go ahead.
I had it, and then I keep cutting you off.
Go ahead. Can't say that during a cast. Pick it back up.
I know. Get fun.
You missed the whole thing.
I missed the whole thing.
We're gonna run it back. Speed up a little bit. From
Lassus.
Lassus. Go ahead. From Lassus. This is all you. I'm not gonna talk at all. Come on.
Hey, Lassus is getting caught out by 4 people. He blinks over the wall, taking a tower shot though. But they blink after him, and he uses his ult. He's about to get pulled, but he uses his ult to counteract it. Still have a lot on him. Incon's up. Self-used his ult, trying to get after Carolina Panthers, who's really low right now. Her ult comes out, but fighting against Ares, she's gonna fall down to it. And Anubis falls down as well.
Not done yet.
Ares falls.
Remember,
thanks to Incon.
you got to watch your mini-map. And when these kind of team fights things happen and you're talking and you're stumbling over yourself, power through it, right? Think about, have you ever tried running?
Yes.
Okay, so the first day that you run is extremely difficult. You don't get very far and you feel like you're going to die.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now. You're falling down. You don't think that you can run ever again. When you do this again tomorrow, when you cast on your own tomorrow, and you start stumbling over your words, it's going to be a little bit easier. When you do it again on Sunday and you start stumbling over your words, it's going to be a little bit easier. This is something that you're obviously very new at, but you have to stick with. Talking is not an easy feat. Despite the fact that everybody does it, most people do it very poorly. They don't have good diction. They don't have any eloquence. Things they say are fucking stupid. People are shitty at talking. That's why they pay Jon Stewart so much fucking money. Right? Because he's good at talking, he conveys his points eloquently, and even though he's not the one creating the content that's going on screen, it's still his voice. You are not creating content here. You are not the one creating the things that you have to say. You are a muse. You are a catalyst to which the people who are watching the game understand through the events that are happening. You are just conveying the thoughts of the game that are happening in front of you. So right here, right? Cliff rotating through the jungle. Mid camps are up. Still has experience in the mid lane to game, but he's going to be aggressive. Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for the steal on the back camps. Maybe not worth it in terms of golden experience, but he wants to fight Murphy, and look how much damage he's doing to him. This could be a solo kill. He's going to be forced out. Left side, they're diving. They find a kill into Shibalanke. The tower's super low. They're going to pick up another 500 gold. All the while, Cliff continues to bait. He's trying to get towards his team. He still has a lot of control here. There are 2 Guardians ready to protect him, but Andy blinks over the wall. He found a hole in the defense, and he's going to continue the chase. All the while, Incon fighting against Murphy, maybe not taking a lot of damage, but it's starting to add up, right? None of that was me. None of that was me. All I did was allow the game to unfold, and I allowed the people at home to understand the more important features. The fact that Andenster found a hole in the defense to pick off the Arachne, right? The fact that Incon is now slightly out of position because he tried to make the save and couldn't. And the fact that Murphy is going to continuously whittle him down while Stealth begins to make his rotation. All of that stuff is happening. I'm not making it happen. It's just happening. And it's my job 100% to control that, right? So Incon throws out the Shield of the Underworld, maybe try to stop some of the damage coming in, maybe deter them, but obviously wasn't enough. And with the support going down, this could be their opportunity to back, heal up, and start pressuring against that Fire Giant.
They've been pinging out the Fire Giant, trying to get that grouping going that you mentioned.
You see Freya has rotated over in an attempt to maybe spot out if they were going for it. You see her place down the sentry ward there, which means slight vision control, but Goddess Smite's already over there. It's likely he's going to pick the vision right back up.
We have a bit of a ward war here, trying to get that vision advantage going on.
Wow, the blink
Whoa.
to offset the, it looks like just the pulse. That's a pretty big win for Blue. Without Ares having the ability to jump into the team fight immediately, this is going to put Blue at a great position to start the initiation with their Guardians.
Yeah, with such great initiation over on by the Blue team, they're going to have a really strong fight, and part of Ares' kit is that blink. Well, he needs that blink to get his kit going, get that control, which he won't be able to have, and they can't stall long enough.
All right, so I'm gonna speed up a little bit, try to find us a team fight, because like you said, you wanted to do play-by-play and hosting, and we only have about 10 minutes left, so we're gonna speed up. Are you ready?
All right.
So Goddess Smite's out of position here. You can see Cliff, who has been notably very aggressive this game, is rushing him down on the enemy side of the map. But Shibalanke is not on this side. They could force a power play here. You can see Goddess Smite is already pushed away.
But forcing these really small groups, trying to get it going.
Anister teleporting in. He jumps. Lassus uses his blink to get away. They could turn here.
Incon ults to get them in that ult. Stealth trying to bring them in, but forces Freya's out, getting those damage in. Smoggy ults get some darkness.
Power through it. Go.
Bacchus ults get that disoriented and make them start moving and going.
All right, so slow it down. Let's do that again. Slow it down. Something that a lot of really good casters do, and it's not because they can't speed cast, because they like it better, and this might be more helpful to you, is just like very slow hype casting. So watch the method that I choose, right? So we have Korea here, grouping up with his team. Lassus very low. Andy blinking in. Oh, wow, but Lassus blinks away here, and it's coming down. Incon gets a big ult, but no one to follow up. Korea out of position. The Geb Shield, though, gonna properly put him right back into the mix of things. It's all about Korea right now. How much damage can he do? But he's committed too hard. Cliff didn't get in there. Carolina Panthers gonna try to turn this one around. The Shield of the Underworld did some damage there. Cliff in the back line, uncontested, trying to fight through, power through, finds another kill with the Venomous Bite, and he's gonna blink in. Korea pushing him forward. Now see, I was barely casting there. It was just like, I say Korea, right? Real hard. The first thing your eyes do as a viewer is find that fucking Bacchus, right? It's the first thing you want to do is like, why is he so hyped over the fucking kid? Why is he looking for it? So you look for the name or you look for the Bacchus, right? As a viewer at home, you're like, holy shit, what's going on? That's awesome. Oh my god, look how fucking deep he is. That's amazing, right? If you're going to look for hype casting and play-by-play, start slow, build up to speed. No one starts off as an auctioneer, right? It's not even really a method that most people will want to do. It's not a great method overall. So, Anister jumping away. Oh, Banish not going to hit there. They're still pushing into the Phoenix. Lassus cleaning up the ads as the rest of them clean up the bird. That's going to be a big win. First Phoenix of the game goes down, but Andy, tunnel vision, not happy with the way that turned out. Blinks in, finds a kill, and he's now going to face down against two. I don't see them letting him get away from this one for free. Go ahead.
Cliff's trying to slow him down with those
again,
spiders.
There's too many words. Cliff's trying to slow him down with the spiders. There's too many words, right? Just try to say, Cliff throws down the spiders. You don't have to eloquate the fact that he's trying to slow him. That's what an analyst is for. If it's not a team fight, just stick to the basics, right? So,
okay.
Cliff throws down the spiders. Andy has to run in the other direction. He's not in a great spot here. Forced to jump away. Go ahead.
Sun's coming from the right. Looking to aggress on them.
All right. Pause real quick. You said stun's coming from the right. What's the most important thing in that team fight before Anister jumped away? Anister is one hit from death. Your hype should have been Andy is almost dead. Right? That's the most hype thing. Because at this stage of the game, a death could throw the game. All right, so let's clean up. Let's go back into it, right? We see MLC Stealth has the Shield of the Underworld active and his ult is going. You ready?
All right.
Go ahead.
Self ult comes out. But he doesn't really grab anyone, and they're going forward on Andy. Andy and Chabunka are both really low. One knockup could get him, but with that jump, he's out of the way, and a blink gets him right into safety. Chabunka's still in a lot of trouble here. The knockup, Incon does have the damage, though.
All right, in the back line, you missed that also Korea was fighting too. Remember, when you stop your cast, you should be immediately looking at the minimap. That's very important. Fire Giant's going to be taken here, but that's going to be all we have for our time today. That ends the hour, so you can just escape and return to the lobby. Things to note. First, when you watch this back, you're going to hear yourself stumbling over those words, right? Go back and watch it repeatedly. Find things that you could have talked about. The more that you go into these matches and pick out these things, the easier it will be for your brain to go, this is happening, I should talk about that, or this is happening, we should talk about that. Those things are very important. Number 2, slow down. However fast, and I tell this to everyone, however fast you think you should be talking, cut that shit in half. Straight up, in half. That is a serious number. Like, it must go down by a lot. Number 3, game knowledge needs to go up. A lot of your stumbling comes from the fact that you can't convey your thoughts quickly because you don't understand the game at a deep enough level. That's going to come from you playing with an intent to win. So make sure you're playing while you're trying to cast. And one thing that I always found very helpful was I would be casting while I'm playing, right? So I could be like, all right, so I'm moving in here, doing this, I'm doing that. Commentate your own play. And when you die, pick a teammate and commentate them playing. The more that you do this, the easier it gets. Any skill is bettered by training, and that's what you need right now.
Okay.
So, Hoxa will cut it up. You'll be able to watch the video over and over. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.